Welcome, everybody. So happy to have you here. I'm your host, Jonathan Mast, and I'm really excited today. I don't know that Matt and I have ever had the opportunity to do a joint webinar together. It's been a while since I met Matt. And if you don't know, Matt writes my absolute favorite, well, I should writes, he's a developer behind my absolute favorite AI blogging software called ZimmWriter. And it might just be based on his name since it's Matt Zimmerman. Matt, I should probably ask you that. I'm assuming that's why it's ZimmWriter. Am I right on that?
Yeah, I don't make the wisest choices, and it was going to be called AI Writer for Windows, but wiser minds prevailed, and they said that's pretty stupid. So call it something better. And they
I,
made the suggestion, so I'm not going to take credit, but it stuck, and it's short, and I like it.
I like it. No, and I love your branding. I know it was about a year or so ago you updated all your branding and everything on that. So it's interesting. Matt, I don't even know if you know this. I started using your software probably three-ish years ago, give or take, maybe four. I'm not sure exactly when. It was a long time ago. And we have literally written tens of thousands of blog posts with ZimmWriter.
Wow.
And it's amazing about the level of control that it gives us. What I'd love to do is I'd like to talk to the audience a little bit about both, why is blogging still important today when we hear about social media and video and that. But I also want to dig in a little bit. The thing that I love about ZimmWriter is that it uses AI, but it's not just like this single prompt. We're not trying to go in and say, "Oh, write me one, give me a prompt and write me a blog post." It learns about you. Or at least you can teach it about you. You
Right.
can give it tons and tons of information. There's research capabilities with it, and I don't know the exact number, or if you can even tell me, but it's a multiple prompt process that's gone through to write this. So it's not just a one-shot prompt and you're getting a blog. It's dozens, if not many dozens of prompts going together and then creating and bringing all this together from your headlines to your key takeaways to your FAQs and all of the options that you've done. So I'll stop singing your praises because I could go on forever about that. Again, I think it's amazing. But talk to me, if you will, before we dive into why ZimmWriter is so amazing. I'd like you to talk to me about your perspective from blogging. Again, I think blogging is critical. I hear people talk about it all the time as though, boy, does anybody read blogs anymore? And from an SEO perspective, I don't think there's a better tool. From a building a personal brand, I don't think there's a better tool. I'd love to hear your perspective as it comes to blogging in 2025, 2026. What do you think's going on
Yeah.
with blogging?
It's stuff's changing, I'll tell you that.
No
Stuff's
doubt.
definitely changing. So I would probably classify, there's probably more, but in general, I would put blogging into three different buckets. You have the local, you're a local plumber, local doctor, you need that website up and, just for the traffic and whatnot. So you have that bucket. And then you have like the affiliate marketing or whatnot. You're trying to make money with what you're posting online. And then you have the brand building, people that want to build a brand and you need that home base that kind of talks about yourself, but then also speaks to your community. And I think blogging is still very important in all of those situations. Although from an affiliate standpoint, uh, now we're in the mindset of scaling. I have a ZimmWriter
Mm.
user, and he's bought like 50. I think he's up to 17 licenses now. And he's running them on 17 different computers simultaneously. He'll wake up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. He would tell me this to start a new job. He's like, Matt, you gotta boost up the number of articles it can write at a time because I'm having to wake up at 3 o'clock. And I'm like, oh man. So I took care of him. But he has, I kid you not, over 300 sites all made by ZimmWriter. He's making more money a month than I am with ZimmWriter. So, and
Wow.
it's incredible what he's doing. And it's all Amazon affiliate. But it wouldn't work if he hadn't scaled like that. And
Hmm.
interestingly enough, he's not using Ahrefs or something for keyword research. He has the $200 a month ChatGPT subscription, and he has a series of prompts to kind of identify niches that are maybe underserved, and then build out a whole content plan in ZimmWriter formatting. And then he can just paste that into ZimmWriter, spin up the site overnight, and it'll just pump out all the content. And he's not relying on Google traffic. A lot of people are like, oh, Google's not ranking my site anymore. Look at other avenues. He's getting tons of traffic from Yahoo, tons of traffic from Bing. And like I said, he's making more money than I am. So,
Well, and again, I think it's so important. The other thing that I think is important is, we talk about now AEO, everybody's instead of SEO, they're talking about AI search optimization because, of course, there's a ton of people going to ChatGPT and other engines and just asking their search questions there. One of the things I can tell you that has helped me build my brand has been the fact that we've used ZimmWriter to write topical authority content that adds value to our audience and that positions me and my company as the expert in that niche. And the blog content has been so important in doing that and pulling that on through. I'm curious from your perspective, do you see that's going to continue to be where things are headed? I know that's my belief, but I'm curious where your belief is on that one, Matt.
You know, in my opinion, if especially if you're brand building, you're building a brand, you want to create content that's valuable, that's engaging to your specific audience. And if you can do that, if you can thread that needle, it will amplify whatever results you're getting.
Mm,
And
hmm
so, like if you just have a site up, and like let's say you're having you offer services or something like that, and you're not local, you're just offering your services, whether it's a course or whether it's consulting or something like that. If you have no presence for people to go and kind of kick the tires and learn about you, you know,
Exactly.
and like, does this guy really know what he's talking about? Or does this person really know what they're talking about? You need that web presence for that brand.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Social's great, but at the end of the day, even AI tools are not searching social posts as much. They're looking at your
Right.
website, they're looking at blog posts. And I know with the capabilities that your topical authority generator, which is built inside of ZimmWriter gives, it's such a great way to come up with more ideas and understanding what needs to be done. In fact, I don't know if I've told you this or not, but we actually use the topical authority generator inside ZimmWriter in our topical authority trifecta
Oh,
training that we did. And we're showing people how, again, you can go in and give it a topic and you can say, here's how many pillar topics I'm looking for, and here's how many blog posts I want. And it comes back with so many amazing ideas to help make sure that when the AI engines are looking at you, or Google for that matter, that it's not just, oh, I'm the best chiropractor in Jacksonville, Florida, but I've written all about chiropractic. And so it establishes me with what Google's looking for and that expertise and that experience and that authority and that trust. So I love all
yeah.
that. Before we go into ZimmWriter, I also want to talk, you've got an amazing AI prompting course out, or AI, I don't know if I'm calling
Yeah.
it the right way. Tell us a little bit about that course. I took it, but it was almost a year ago. Tell me a little bit about that course and kind of the progress you've continued to make with that.
Yeah. So, I wanted to kind of establish myself as like an AI, expert or whatnot, just
Hmm.
because, with building ZimmWriter, like I'm spending all this hours prompting, and I'm like, man, I can talk well to the AI. Let me share some of that with other people. And so, about a year and a half ago, I had a prompting course, a paid course that I released, and it showed a lot of, pull back the curtain, look at the wizard, kind of
Hmm.
understand really, what's going on, and that was good, but I was teaching a lot of the interface of OpenAI, and man, stuff's moving so fast. You
Oh, isn't
can't
it?
teach to you can't teach to interfaces anymore. So I re-recorded the course. I'm teaching principles now, but just like I'm trying to, okay, how do I build a brand? How do I build a brand around this? And so I kind of took it a step further, and a lot of people will make a lead magnet to kind of get people in and whatnot. So
Hmm.
my lead magnet now is a 33 lesson prompting course, completely free. And you go to my site and getprompted.ai, and you take the course. You don't even need to register. You just take the course. But if you register, you can track your progress. So there's like a light LMS that I vibe coded, because a lot of these LMS systems are pretty heavy. So I
Hmm.
vibe coded a light LMS, and you could track your progress, and it's all completely free.
Very cool. Now, you just mentioned something I wasn't planning on talking about, but I'm really curious. So next week, I've got a training coming up about vibe coding because even as a
Yeah.
sales and marketing guy, I've been able to vibe code some really cool, what I call micro apps. These are not, nothing
Yes.
major, but micro apps type things. You're a developer, though. I mean, obviously, you've written and you've maintained and continue to on ZimmWriter. I'd love to get your perspective as a professional developer who makes your living developing products. What's your perspective on vibe coding?
Mm, mm. So I think there's probably two classifications of people. There's programmers, like people that that understand programming, understand the languages, and are using vibe coding to accelerate their progress. I guess there's three groups. So that's the one group, and that's great. You can now it's not great if you work for a company and they fired everybody but you, and now you have to do everybody's
Sure.
job. you know,
Yeah.
but that's one group. The other group are people that don't know how to code at all, and they try to vibe code something large. Like, okay, I'm going to go
Mm.
build a system that does 50 million different things, and I'm going to sell it to the world. And that's dangerous if you don't know anything about coding, because just like the context window in ChatGPT or Claude gets full, all right, the AI can only keep so much of your code in its memory at a time, and eventually stuff's going to start to break. And the last thing you want is stuff breaking, or a hacker coming in, and breaking it for you. And suddenly, you have 100 customers, and you're up a creek, and you don't even have an LLC.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
so that's one problem. Now going to what you were talking about, I think micro SaaS, or not even micro SaaS,
Yeah.
but like micro apps, so to speak. That is the sweet spot for people that don't know a lot about coding, because it's really easy to go to ChatGPT now and say, okay, teach me about HTML, teach me CSS, teach me JavaScript, in 30 minutes or something like that. You can get the basics and then create a one file micro app. It's just HTML, some CSS, maybe there's some API logic in there. And then
Hmm.
depending on what you're doing with it, I wouldn't say, charge people for access, but, maybe you could paywall that behind a WordPress, plugin that paywalls that micro app. So I wouldn't be coding things that have sensitive things in them for other people that could break, but you could make that, paywalled and secure it. That's what I would do. And so I think micro apps are literally the future. I've built a couple of those, and those are great lead magnets, great ways to get
Yeah.
people to your site. Great ways.
Well, and I agree with you totally. I cannot imagine. I've done some development projects, but I've been on the other side of it, paying the developer, and
Yeah.
those are always. I can't imagine doing one of them, I guess, without a development team, because
Mm.
there's always changes that need to happen, and there's updates and all that, and you need that control, you need that knowledge to be able to go back and deal with it. On the micro app side, my perspective, and again, feel free to disagree with me. What I love about it, it's almost like a custom GPT or a gem in Google that I can create a specialist that does one thing really well, and
Mm.
I can vibe code that because there's not a lot to go wrong with it. For
Right.
example, the first one I did was I have a custom GPT that helps me write social media posts, and it's trained on my voice and my style and exactly how I want them written. I literally uploaded that. I used Manus and I uploaded it all to Manus and said, turn this into a micro app for me and put my logo on it. And
Mm.
literally, like 12 minutes later, it's like, okay, here it is. And I'm like, dang, that worked just great. Now, again, am I going to go out and try to sell that and make a lot of money? No, that's not my objective. But it was so cool to be able to do something like that and deliver it that somewhere outside of Google or outside of
Right.
ChatGPT or that type of thing. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of the I know they're called micro SaaS, but I'm the micro app. Go build something simple that does something. I did my most complex one last night. I built one for Black Friday promos, and basically to allow people to put them in and then just create a directory of Black Friday
Mm.
promos. But even that, it's in the big picture, it's really a
Right.
glorified website that's pretty simple. But I used to run a web development business, and it would have taken me a day or two to have created that and laid it all out in WordPress and got the right plugins, got it working and last night I did it. I spent about $40 with Mana, so I did spend some money in
Mm.
credits, but I had it done in an hour and a half. And most of that
Yeah.
wasn't me doing work. It was me waiting while it was doing stuff and then coming back and then going, okay, change this. No, anyway, we're getting off topic. That wasn't the purpose for here, but
Oh,
I appreciate your
I love
perspective.
I love that topic. Hey, can I share something else with you?
Oh
I think
yeah, please.
your viewers might really enjoy this. So, going back to like lead magnets and stuff like that, I don't want to give too much away. I actually vibe coded. I said, okay, I want to I want to do something with vibe coding to make it make my site kind of special. So let me vibe code like a little robot that kind of bops around the screen and kind of eats stuff or something like that. And it made this robot JavaScript, and it bopped around and ate stuff. And I'm like, this is kind of lame a little bit. What else can I do? And I
Hmm.
used to play Fallout 3, a video game.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you
absolutely.
So
I've
you
played
remember
that
those?
many times. Oh yeah.
Okay, okay. So you'll understand this. So you know those terminals that you can like hack into the terminals?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm like, okay, let me vibe code that. That'd be kind of cool to vibe code. And so I vibe coded the terminal. Then I'm like, well, wait a second, we could build some lore with this. So I ended up
Ooh.
writing a 3-season story. It's over 3 actual physical years, and each season has 96 episodes. And those episodes drop every Monday and Friday. I'm probably giving too much away now, as
I love it.
log
This is so
files,
cool.
as log files in the terminal. And then there's like Easter eggs inside of all of that. And the whole story revolves around an AI research lab. And there's also like files hidden around the terminal where like they went out and they hacked um other like they try to hack into OpenAI and steal their secrets. It's pretty amazing. But all of that is hidden as a secret world on my website, and people have to find.
That is so cool. Oh, I
I'll
love
show it. I'll
that.
show you after the video. I'll give you,
I
but you
was going to
can't
say
share it with
I've got
anybody.
to, I've got to go do some exploring. I need to find some more time now. Oh, that's amazing. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it
Well,
was fun.
Matt, before you show us the ZimmWriter, talk to me a little bit about the people that are wondering, why can't I just go to ChatGPT or Gemini or wherever and give it a prompt and have it write a blog post for me? Why doesn't that create a quality output? Because this isn't just about volume. We talked about how we've created tens of thousands of posts and others have as well, but it's not just about volume, it's quality content at volume, which is where it gets so exciting. Can you talk to me a little bit about how ZimmWriter handles that and why going to ChatGPT doesn't work so well?
Sure. Wait,
And share your
and
screen anytime you want, by the way. So
yeah, yeah. I didn't have ZimmWriter loaded, so I'm loading it right now. Um, so to be honest, and I definitely want to be honest with everyone, ChatGPT has gotten pretty decent at writing a blog post with, in markdown format with, good outline structure and stuff like that. It's not bad now. Like it's definitely improved from the days
no
of
doubt.
Da Vinci or stuff like that. Now, the problems you could run into are, okay, so I have this blog post. How do I get it on my site? Okay, I'll copy and paste it into WordPress or something like that. You're like, okay, now I need to make an AI image for it, or get a stock image or something. Okay, now I want to link between my different blog posts because your site's not going to rank, or there's not much use, put it that way, to having one blog post on your site. So maybe you're
Exactly.
an agency building, sites for local clients or for yourself, or maybe you're building your brand up and you need more articles. Now, maybe you don't need 1,000 articles, but you need, 50 articles or something like that. That can be a time-consuming process to go through the hoops of going to ChatGPT, putting in what you want, and building it all out. So ZimmWriter is very useful in the situations where you want to create more than one article at a time, and you can always, after it publishes to WordPress, because it hooks up to WordPress, you can always go back and edit it. You're not tied into you publish it and then you can never touch it again. You can always go back into WordPress and edit your articles. So that's the benefit of ZimmWriter. And it's all you pay as you go. Unlike these other subscriptions where you pay $100 a month and you only get like 5 articles out of it or something like that. You pay for the subscription to ZimmWriter. You plug in your own API keys, and you can even run local, Llama. You can run Llama models on
Yep.
it if you want to. It runs Llama and LM Studio, so you can actually pay nothing for text usage. And then if you do you know Runware? Have you used Runware before?
No, I've not used that one. That's that one I'm
You
unfamiliar with.
So there's lots of different AI image models inside of ZimmWriter. And Runware, I use Runware also in their GUI, their interface. It's the most economical AI image creator on the market. And
Wow, that's
I do
cool.
all of my thumbnails in Runware and stuff like that. But I guess they have their own chips. And so the Flux dev model, for instance, it's literally 10 times cheaper than FAL and Replicate. So
Oh my
definitely check out
goodness.
Runware. That's integrated in ZimmWriter. I can show you around. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit though.
Yeah, I'm going to unspotlight me so we can see your screen a little better here.
Sure.
I can get all my pop-ups to stop coming up. Here we go.
Yeah. So
There we
this
go.
is so the two things about ZimmWriter are it's a nerdy interface. You got to enjoy the nerdiness of it, and it's an
But it's
old,
so
it's old.
simple.
It's simple. Yes, it's very, very simple. And it runs on a Windows computer on your desktop. You can, now I'm on Parallels right now. I'm on my Mac running Parallels. Parallels is great because you have your Mac, you got your PC, it's all in one computer, so it runs great on Parallels. But it's a Windows app. It just runs on your computer. And you would just kind of do the tour and look at the bulk writer. What would you like me to show?
Well, I guess let's give people a little bit of an overview. I know one of the things that really sets ZimmWriter apart is its ability to create multiple posts. So I've shared with my audience before,
Yeah.
we recently moved from Michigan down to Alabama, and that means we've taken a lot of trips on that 16 and a half road hours of back and forth. And many times when I leave either Michigan or Alabama, I will queue up 10, 20, as many as a few hundred blog
Mm,
posts that need to be written for our websites. And again, they're thought through. It's not, I want everybody to know this isn't just spamming stuff, but using your
right.
bulk writer and things like that. I can literally start that. And because I happen to use a remote Windows desktop for mine, I'm a Mac guy as well. I
Mhm.
literally can shut down my computer, drive between Michigan and Alabama, and get to the hotel that night. And I've got 50 or 90 perfectly written blog posts ready to go, or even posted as drafts to my website, all happening while I was driving down the road and my computer was off. So one of the things that's really exciting to me is that. But maybe let's give them a little introduction. I know a lot of our audience isn't familiar with ZimmWriter, so maybe just kind of a general overview would be great to start with.
Excuse me,
Oh,
Jonathan. I'm sorry to interrupt. I know your right
yep.
hand isn't available, but it looks like there's a bunch of comments that we can't see the screen. It's incredibly blurry. So I don't know if it can be
Thank you
refreshed.
for letting us know that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Sorry about the interruption.
No, no, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm.
Matt, is it possible instead of, it looks like you're going through your cam, would it be possible just to share the screen using Zoom? Let me see. I do see it is blurry on this end as well.
Yeah, let's see if I can all right.
Thank you for
Share.
saying that. I appreciate that, guys. You guys know I love you as an audience because you help keep me doing good. So thank you. You should be able to share.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. All right.
Just thinking using the native. I
I
don't know if that'll
yeah,
work
I
with you or not with Camtasia.
no, I think we can do it. I just gotta find. All right. The joys of being a content creator. All right.
Absolutely.
It let's see. No, I can't see my maximization thing.
Nothing like getting technical, and then when technology doesn't help us, that's kind of like this morning for anybody that ran into
Oh
that.
my goodness. All right. Can you
That is a little better. It's still a little blurry, but guys, does that
Mhm.
work? I can see it reasonably well. It's just a little pixelated, but I can more or less see it. Can you
let
guys see
me
that?
Yes, we can
let me
see it. It's a
All right,
lot
that's
better.
better. Thank you, Matt.
is that better?
Awesome.
That's yeah, that's weird. I don't know. The
I don't
joys
know
of
either.
tech.
Anyway, yeah, the
Although
joys.
at least I'm not Cloudflare. Those people have problems today.
Oh, not a good day to be a Cloudflare. No, All right,
Okay,
go
so
ahead. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the heads up.
yeah, no problem. All right. So the thing that ZimmWriter started as a way to use AI anywhere on your computer. And that's what I still use it for. I use it actually I'll write my blog post. I just like will vomit out my words into WordPress. And then I'll use a magic command to correct the text. So let me give you an example. Why is the sun hot? Now, just imagine I'm in WordPress right now and I've selected some text and I want to improve it. I'm not going to improve it here because I don't have like some pre-written text, but the magic commands allow you to use AI anywhere on your desktop in any website, anywhere. Now I'm on a Mac, so the keyboard shortcuts are a little bit different. Let's see if I can get this right. Let's see, Control 1. All right, hold on 1 second. Let's try this. There we go. So you press the keyboard trigger, all right, and it actually takes the text that's highlighted, processes it, sends it to OpenAI, all right, or whatever AI model you've chosen, and then gets the text back and pastes it wherever the cursor is. So you can be inside a Notepad or your favorite, editor. You can be inside of
Hmm.
Microsoft Word, Google Sheets, Facebook, wherever, and have it process your text. So I use this all the time. I'll have some triggers in here. I'll rewrite trigger, rewrite the input to fix grammar, never use an em dash, all that good stuff. So I'll write my blog posts and then I'll just highlight the text, sections of the text, and I'll have the AI kind of just fix the stuff up. So it's a glorified, I'm using it as a glorified grammar and spell checker. So if you use one of those, you can throw away your subscription to those if you get ZimmWriter, because you can just use this. And you can select whatever model you want. We have like GPT, all the different GPTs. There's Claude, there's Open Router, all that good stuff. So that's Magic Commands. You know, you can use AI kind of anywhere, anywhere you can type. There's also the bulk writer. The bulk writer's a big part of ZimmWriter now. You can kind of do everything inside of it, and you can write one article if you want to, or you can write 1,000 articles if you want to. So don't let the name kind of confuse you. But there's, you know, a lot of people get overwhelmed by all the settings, right? But you don't even have to configure anything. You can just come in here and say like, how to, my stereotypical article, how to wash a dog, you know, and then you press start bulk writer, and out will come a text file and then also an HTML file. All right. And it will tell you, you know, okay, here's the model we used. Here's how many calls we made. You talked about this before, how many calls we made to OpenAI. And the more settings you use, you know, okay, let's nuke some AI words. Let's include some lists. Let's use literary devices. Let's include a key takeaway. Let's include a search engine intro. Let's include an FAQ, you know. You start setting all these, those are more calls to the AI. Depending on the model, like it doesn't have to be expensive. Like some of these articles, if you're writing with GPT-4o mini or, you know, GPT-5 mini, the article could end up being like a tenth of a penny. So this stuff is very, very inexpensive. But those are just more calls to the AI. And, you know, you might end up with an article that had 200 calls to the AI. And that's just something that you can't do inside of ChatGPT to get a high quality article out.
Exactly.
And let's see. There's all kinds of other stuff you can do. You can hook up your WordPress sites up to 1,000 different WordPress sites. You can set stuff to schedule. And this is what I would do. So I would queue up, you know, I do all my research, and this is what my friend does too with the 17 licenses. He'll queue up all his research and queue up like 500 or 1,000 articles or something. And I'll say, okay, I want to do 3 posts each week starting, and you can even backdate this stuff if you want to, but starting today. All right. And then he'll run this, you know, run ZimmWriter, and it will upload it all to WordPress. And then WordPress, based on its scheduler, will automatically release those articles on the scheduled date. So you can queue up 3 years of content if you really want to, and never have to touch it again, because it's all on your site, and your site's automatically dripping it out if you're using WordPress. So that's pretty powerful. There's link packs. All right. You can, and this is different from how other AI writers work. There are packs you can make that have links to either your site's internal links, all right, or external links to other sites you have, links to Amazon, links to third-party sites, you know, wherever. And you can have the AI, as it writes the article, determine based on relevance what links it should insert, and then automatically insert those links. So it's a very very powerful AI link inserter while it's writing those articles. There's SERP scraping. All right, you can configure that if you want to, or alternatively, you can use deep research. If you've ever used Perplexity before, you know, Perplexity will go out and you know,
love it.
They were the first. Perplexity was the first, but then OpenAI added web searching, and so did Anthropic. But you can configure this and say, okay, I want to use Perplexity's Sonar Online, for instance. And while ZimmWriter is writing the article, it will look at like the section title and say, okay, let me go do some deep research and pull out some great information on this particular topic. And it will give you citations with that too, and incorporate those as links into your article. As an example, and I think let's see. If you go to my site, rankingtactics.com, on the Get ZimmWriter page, there's links to actually, why did that get messed up? I guess I had to edit my page.
It looks good on my computer, so who knows what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Well, I have 3 courses I made, and they're completely free courses. And like one of them's 10 hours long. It's literally over the shoulder. Here's how you do your keyword research. Here's how you register your domain. Here's how you set up your hosting. Here's how you plan out all your content. Here's how you write your content. Here's how you schedule 2 years of Pinterest pins. And that's a whole different, I'll show you that in a second. I have people, some guy just shared it today. He used ZimmWriter for 2 months, and his Pinterest account is getting, I kid you not, 71,000 outbound clicks to his website from Pinterest, 71,000 outbound clicks from Pinterest to his website over the span of 2 months. And I thought mine was impressive. I was getting about 5,000 outbound clicks to my sites using Pinterest, and he really amped that up. So yeah, you can do Pinterest scheduling, but you can look at each of the sites that I made with ZimmWriter, like Designer Affair. We build this entire site over the shoulder. Because a lot of people are intimidated by building sites and whatnot. So we walk you through the whole thing. This is a crypto site, and this is an example of where using that deep research is very valuable because you're fetching, these are real time news stories, and it's using the deep research to get factually accurate information and then also build links to those sources. All right, and there's another site, Cool Home Recipes, where we had the AI write the articles based on actual recipes. I show you how to find 2.5 million recipes, right, from some data sets. Pull
I
that
love
in.
this feature, by the way. This is so cool.
Like that looks good. That's an AI image right there, you know. And people are like, well, these AI recipes aren't real. No, they're actually real. These are real recipes people have actually cooked, and the AI has just um, uh, fleshed them out, so to speak, you know.
As you say,
So
can we take just a second and explain? I know there's a lot of questions about, but this is, I think, such a great example, Matt. You're able to go in and give it real, actual data, and ZimmWriter is
yeah.
able to essentially repurpose that data, these recipes in this case, into still real recipes, but are quote unquote AI optimized, and then create images that go along with that. And then
Yeah.
if you're on WordPress, it can even auto post all of that to your website. If you're not on WordPress, I know a couple people ask, you can still export it. You're going to get it in markdown format, and you can go ahead and copy and paste it in or whatever. It's really easy. But if you're on WordPress or if you're starting a new website, again, imagine focusing on recipes for, let's say, keto. You could literally go take existing keto recipes, repurpose them, have AI create everything, and you could become a leading blogger in that area in, I don't want to say no time, but I mean essentially no time compared to the way we did. Am I correct in how I'm describing that all, Matt?
Yeah. And I don't, some of these concepts are complicated. Like when you look at, they're, they're complicated if you don't have somebody teaching you how to do it. You know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of buttons in here, a lot of things to do. That's why I made the course, is to kind of walk you through it. So yeah, you can exactly what I did. You can, and I don't recommend being disingenuous. Like
No,
for
no,
this
I
site
agree.
right down here, I said down here, kiss the cook. So I explained that these are real recipes, but flavored up, like how to. I have
Hmm.
the real recipes and actual directions that the humans wrote, and then the AI just added, spiced it up, so to speak, made it look prettier and stuff like that. So you can definitely do that with ZimmWriter. You can load in these recipes. I show you how to do that, and load in this background. Maybe your thing's not recipes. Maybe it's something completely different. You can load in data and then have it expand upon that data, have it write these articles based on that data. And what's really powerful in this course, it's again completely free. One problem a lot of people that do recipes have is the image doesn't actually represent the recipe itself. All right, because the image is untethered from the actual ingredients. So I show you inside of this course how to um, actually feed the recipe itself into the AI image prompt. So the AI image can act, or the AI model can actually create something that's very, very close to the final product. So that's recipes right there. So you could do deep research. The deep research is great for factual information. I didn't use deep research for the recipes, but I use that for hey, I'm creating these news sites. That's what the crypto diamond hands and the crypto course is all about. How can you look at real time information and then write about that factually? So I show you how to do that, and that's a great use for deep research. Style mimic is great. Everybody has a problem with getting
Love
the AI
that.
to write in their tone of voice, and like you can copy in somebody's blog post. Maybe it's your blog post, somebody else's blog post, or whatever. You paste it all right in here, or just a writing sample. And then you select the model that you want to use a powerful model, and it will generate a writing style, or a mimic, so to speak, based on that input. And then you can load that mimic so that when you write, it follows that mimic. And I'll show you, I got to show you this. I love this example. I have this site here, And these are examples of stuff I wrote with ZimmWriter, although I haven't updated, recently, but it's still really good. I have this example here. Let me go to the last page. I love this example. All right, so this is an example of an article about the ultimate car safety kit, more than just jumper cables. And I wrote this using like an outlaw mimic. I found a writer, I'm not going to say who, that wrote very sarcastically, aggressively, or whatnot. And I liked his sarcasm in the article. So again, this is the ultimate car safety kit. So check this out. 5 essential tools should form the foundation of your car safety kit for basic repairs. Let's break it down. Screwdriver, adjustable wrench, pliers, tire gauge, and duct tape. Yeah, you heard that right, duct tape. It's not just for DIY enthusiasts and kidnappers. So, I don't know what your tone of voice is, but if you have a particular tone or your client has a particular tone, you can kind of dial in your mimic to get high quality output. And it's all saved. You can save all this to a profile and load up your profile. And it pulls up everything that you saved. And then this custom outline is a very advanced feature. It's what I used to create that recipe site. But you can you can do all kinds of stuff with this to really dial in the format of the output you want, whether you're doing local SEO, whether you're doing affiliate, whether you're doing recipes, whether you're doing crypto, whatever you want. This is a very, very powerful feature. And you can look at all the different options inside of here. There's, you can insert all kinds of different things into your custom outline. Very powerful, more of an advanced feature, all right? But the communities, we have 15,000 people in our community that help understand all this kind of stuff. There's custom prompts, all right? Maybe you want to, run a prompt on the output that ZimmWriter creates after ZimmWriter creates it, all right? You can do that inside of here. There's YouTube. You can have ZimmWriter go out and fetch relevant YouTube videos to the article, the section that you're writing, and ZimmWriter will just do that automatically. There's webhooks. All right, maybe you're not using WordPress and you want to send this somewhere. Right, maybe you're using Go High Level or something like that. Now this is a little, you got to kind of understand. Maybe you're an N8N person and you understand webhooks a little bit. You'll feel right at home with this. All right, but if you don't really understand webhooks, this is this you might have to ask somebody to get this done. But ZimmWriter will send a lot of the output data to whatever webhook you want at the end of the day. And then there's alt images, which is actually a pretty amazing feature. If you've ever looked at recipes before, a lot of the recipes, like you don't want text on your recipe on the blog post. But for Pinterest, you might want some text on your recipes. Pinterest is going to be, look a little bit different. And so you can actually have ZimmWriter create a second image that's hidden behind it. So when somebody goes to pin the image, if you have like the pinning enabled, it will pin that alternative image with the graphical text on the image and stuff like that. So that's a mouthful. That's the bulk writer. I can show you some more really cool features in there. You got any questions? I don't want to just do all the talking.
We had a couple of hands up, but they are down at this point. I think we've answered them in the chat as we go through. Tons of people are loving this, by the way, Matt. Everybody's like, this is amazing and everything else. Talk to me a little bit about, oh, there we go. Margie's got a question. So let's bring Margie up real quick. Margie, what's on your mind?
Good morning. Thanks. Yeah, blown away again. This is awesome, and it feels like I'm a little familiar with it, so I'm excited about that. I wanted to know if you could explain a little bit more about local SEO and affiliate SEO, and then I think you mentioned one more, and like what the difference of those are.
Yeah, definitely. So local SEO is there's a local business, someone in a particular city or serving a particular location. Usually it's a plumber, doctor, dentist, florist, something like that. And they want to get, they want to get more leads. They want to get more customers. The one of the best ways to do that is obviously Google My Business, making sure that you're showing up in the top 3 or top. I don't do local, so I don't keep up with it, and that stuff changes a lot. But you want to show up in that map pack. You want to show up near the top of the results because Google knows when you're entering, plumber, you're looking for someone local, and you want to show up there. But you also want to have a website. A website's a good thing to have, and it can drive traffic too if you're using the right keyword research and stuff like that. And so local SEO is simply you're going to be have that landing page with all your different content on it, but you'll also probably have some service pages that address a particular location. So maybe you're a cleaning company, and you do, carpet cleaning, bathroom cleaning, hardwood floor cleaning. All right. And you serve Toledo, Akron, and Cincinnati. So you might have a web page that's like carpet cleaning for Toledo, hardwood floor cleaning for Toledo, bathroom cleaning for Toledo. So you'll have all these different pages. So that's kind of like local SEO. You're attacking it through the Google ecosystem, which is Google My Business, but you're also attacking it through a blog. All right. Now, affiliate, a little bit different. Affiliate is when you want people to come to your website and you have a link to something. It could be a link, it could be an image, could be whatever. So as an example, one subtle way to do that is on this particular site. Let me see if I can find an article with it. Yep. Okay. So I went very subtle with this. All right. So I'm like, okay, let me write these blog posts. All right. But then have ZimmWriter insert high-end cooking equipment that someone might need as they're cooking this. So let's see what this is. Now comes so this is we're making coastal crab cakes. All right. So this is how to make these. Let me get down here. Now comes the gentle scrambling. Use a spatula to slowly fold over themselves as they cook. For optimal results, consider using premium seafood cookware, which provides superior heat distribution. So let's click this, see where it goes. So there you go. You could buy new pot set or something like this. So this is an affiliate link that I have inside of the article, very, very subtly. All right. Now you could also, if you want to, do a product roundup. Like down here, let's see if I get some product roundups. Here's an example of like a product roundup. So 9 best Christmas lights. And this is what my friend that has 17 licenses, this is what he does with his 300 and some sites. So he'll do a lot of roundups. 9 best Christmas lights to brighten up your home. And so you'll have your base. It's basically like a review. Now you don't want to be disingenuous. You got to be honest. You don't have to tell them that this is like AI reviewed, by an AI or something. But don't start saying, "Hey, I did this. I like this. I reviewed this," because that would be a lie. We don't want to do that. But we can have the AI write this content based on the stuff that's on Amazon. All right. So ZimmWriter will go out to Amazon, pull in the top 15 or whatever Christmas lights. All right. And then it will write the article based on that. And this is ZimmWriter will automatically create this using a particular WordPress plugin. This is the AFFI plugin that creates a nice little product box with your affiliate link. And it has, pros and cons. It's all based on the data from the Amazon product page. All right. And then also the customer reviews from that product page. So you're like, oh, yeah, I like this, visitors on your site, they click the link. And now if they buy this, you get a commission. This used to be like printing money back in the day. Before AI, you could just throw these sites up, but you'd have to manually write this content. It would be like printing money, how easy it was to make money. Now with AI, because everybody's doing this, it's harder. If you're just doing one site to just have a roundup post that's going to make you, $5,000 a month, that's harder to do. That's why scaling in the era of AI, if you're going after a certain, if you're going after Amazon affiliate, let's say that if you're an Amazon affiliate, scaling is probably the best way to go. In my opinion, in terms of like having lots of different sites. Did that answer the question? That was an in-depth
I think so. Margie, did that answer your question? And I know a couple of you others had questions about Amazon stuff that made perfect sense.
Yeah, this was good. And then I wanted to know for your blog, because it seemed that the 9 best, so I seen the affiliate link, now I understand the difference. Is this a whole separate like website, or like if you had a local business, would it be a site that's tied to the local business's website already?
You can really do it either way. I mean, not to jump in, Matt, but I like all of Whitebeard Strategies content. We write with ZimmWriter. My stuff on jonathanmast.com, I write with ZimmWriter. So if you can use ZimmWriter to create any type of content that you're looking for there. Sorry, Matt, didn't mean to jump in, but since I use them, they're a good example.
Thank you, Matt.
Sandra,
I appreciate that.
You've got a question, Sandra. What's on your mind?
Okay, there it is. Well, wow, my mind is blown. And so
I saw you making faces as I was talking. I'm like, it was like shocked expressions and stuff.
I'm like blown away. Okay, so avid follower of everything Jonathan Mast, his workshops. I mean, I go to college with Jonathan as my instructor.
Oh, wow.
Jonathan, do you like, I know this ZimmWriter is part of one of the things you had mentioned. So
Hmm.
like someone like me, I don't have a website yet, but I want to. I want to have a
Hmm.
website so then I can have a blog because I understand the power of evergreen visibility and bringing people towards me. Um, so one, do you have Jonathan, do you do something with a course where you're like, I heard you say 3 points. So it's like if you have a website, you have your blog, you've got your ZimmWriter. Is that what you were talking about, or is that completely not in your realm that you've done?
So I don't know any ZimmWriter training specifically, but in our topical authority trifecta training, I talk about ZimmWriter a lot because ZimmWriter, for me, Sandra, is part of building the, when you want to build a presence online, you want to build your personal brand, your business brand, you
Hmm.
need to create content, and that content needs to be helpful. You know me well enough, Sandra, and most
Yeah.
everybody in the call does. I'm a big believer in creating helpful content. But unfortunately, you can't. In the old days, when I had my digital marketing agency, that's when I first met Matt, by the way. When I did that, we could write one blog post a month for most businesses, and that would rank and that would work well. But mind you, this was pre-COVID. Nowadays, one blog post a month, you probably shouldn't even bother. I mean, I'm not going to say that because it's better than your competitors doing nothing, but
Right.
we literally are publishing daily blog posts now, sometimes multiples per day. And in order to do that and to be able to do that well and to have well-written stuff that's still helpful, then ZimmWriter to me is the only solution that makes sense to do that because of the way that we can do that. We actually began when Whitebeard Strategies began before I started doing AI training itself. We started, like every startup, we pivoted, but we started creating AI assisted content marketing for clients, and we did it all through ZimmWriter. We literally had built ourselves, it was close to a $50,000 a month business just
Wow.
providing blogging services to other businesses. So I know a lot of you on the call are interested in how do I do that? Now, we don't do that anymore. We actually sold that business off just because as you guys know, now I'm really focused on the training. But if for those of you looking to figure out how can I monetize things like Matt's talking about here with affiliate stuff, that's amazing. But even just offering it as a service where you're going out to businesses and creating blog posts for them, we charged, by the way, a whopping $500 a month to do that, which is not a lot of money if if ever bought blog posts. And like I said, we had almost 100 clients when we shut that down. So there's a lot of tools. And by the way, we supported that with myself and one person on staff. So that didn't, and because we had ZimmWriter allowed us to scale
Right.
that. We had good processes in place. We followed, protocol. Here's how we're going to do this. We had our standard operating procedures, and it worked really, really well. Many of those customers now ended up buying ZimmWriter and are doing it themselves once we, transitioned out of that. So I don't know if I'm answering your question.
Yeah,
Um,
well, kind of, sort of. I'm going to have to look into your courses to see because I do want to start a website which would include a blog post, which I love the ZimmWriter, which I see that there's a whole lot of training with that.
Yeah, I
And
say I want to add Matt has dozens, if not hundreds of videos. I don't want to say hundreds, but many
that's a
dozens of
lot.
videos on virtually every aspect of ZimmWriter. That's how I learned it. I literally watched Matt's videos and he walks you through. I love it because it was simple steps. It wasn't, 4 hour long videos. It
Okay.
was here's a 10-minute video on how to do this. Here's a 12-minute video on how to do that. So let you really go through really effectively. Matt, do you want to talk a little bit about the type of training you've got available on the site for people that are new to ZimmWriter?
Sure, but to address the questions, Sandra, your question specifically, if you've never made a site before, I don't recommend you getting ZimmWriter right now. I recommend you getting a host. You can go to uh, a shared host. You can just start out with a simple shared host, like what's a good shared
Well, I
host?
have I
Probably.
have Go High Level, and I'm also because I do
Oh,
teach
okay.
things with AI. I've been teaching people how awesome Gamma is, and Gamma connects to Google Analytics. And I was wondering if that would be a possible place to be able to have a blog within that.
I've never heard of Gamma before, but yeah, Go High Level. I know they have WordPress in there. WordPress is like the standard. Um, I, Jonathan, is your site built on WordPress, but in
Yep.
Go High Level?
No, so we use Go High Level. I'm a huge Go High Level nut. In fact, I'm
Yeah.
even now an ambassador for them. But our website is built on WordPress. We use Go
Okay.
High Level for our landing pages and our store and things like that. But our blog still
Okay.
sits on WordPress and on both jonathanmast.com and Whitebeard Strategies. Those are sitting on WordPress just because from a blogging perspective, coming from an agency, I believe that WordPress is the best platform
Right.
for blogs.
Yeah.
And that
I
just like I've
100.
tried WordPress and I want to pull my hair out. So I'm like,
Yeah.
then I'm looking at paying somebody to do. So I was looking at what's the
No, no,
easiest
no.
way that
So
I can get this done. So because I
this is
want to use ZimmWriter.
no, this is all you got to do. All right. Get your host, and maybe you can do WordPress through Go High Level, or maybe you just use something like hosting or something like that. But you have on one side of the screen, all right, you have you're working with WordPress, you're working, your yucky WordPress you don't know how to do or whatever. Right side of the screen, you got ChatGPT. All right. It's an expert at WordPress. Ask it hey, I'm at ChatGPT. You take a screenshot, feed it into ChatGPT. I don't know how to do this. What do I do? And it will answer those questions for you. So that's where I recommend getting started. Don't start with ZimmWriter if WordPress sounds yucky to you. It was yucky to me a couple of years ago. Don't worry, been there, done that. Now I'm an expert at WordPress. You can be like that too. So in terms of training though for ZimmWriter, I'd
Thank
like to update all of my training. But you open up ZimmWriter first of all. Well, you get ZimmWriter, and then when you get it, I send you an email and there's like an onboarding. So this is a great AI image. I'm going to onboard you to ZimmWriter. You watch this. I show you how to get all started with ZimmWriter. Okay, walk you through kind of just some of the basics, and then as you're using ZimmWriter, all right, you'll kind of uncover more stuff. You're like, oh, what's this button do? Just click buttons. You don't click some buttons, see what it does. Using AI, using ZimmWriter is all about testing, and then looking at the result. Don't think you'll come in here and write something and it's going to be the most amazing thing you've ever, you're clicking all these buttons and it turns into the most amazing thing you've ever written before. That's not going to happen. You have to learn how stuff works, but go simple. At the top of every menu is a little link. You click the link, it takes you to the guide. I use cheeky, just like Jonathan, I use cheeky AI images too. So this is the bulk writer. So we got some old people in a factory making blog posts for us, right? And I walk you through kind of all the different features and functions that you can use in that particular area of ZimmWriter. All right, so that's a great place to start. You can also go to my, let's go back to the secret training page. There's a training over here, a playlist. You click it, and there's 23 videos, and it kind of walks you through a lot of the different features inside of ZimmWriter. They're bite-sized, 5 minutes, 6 minutes long, so you can kind of get started with different things inside of ZimmWriter. And there's all kinds of other, you can just poke around. There's all kinds of cool features. Like there's an AI vault in here with, you can do bulk images. Maybe you want to make bulk social media images or just bulk images for whatever, you can do that. You can generate niches. You want to look for niches. You can do those product roundups we talked about where it taps into Amazon. You can do that. Topical authority generator. You can turn SEO keywords into blog post titles. Lawn tractor, that's not a blog post title, but that's an SEO keyword. So how do you turn that into an actual title? You could use this. There's all kinds of, I call these discombobulators. If you've ever used, think of like Google Sheets, where you have like a column and you want to process each cell against a AI prompt. All right, that's kind of what the text discombobulator and the SERP discombobulator is. You put in, these lines of text, and you select the prompt that you want to use, and it will run the prompt against each one of the textual items in the list. It's actually kind of handy because using AI inside of like a specific prompt inside of Google Sheets is not very intuitive. So you can do that inside of here, and there's like links to how it all works. So there's lots of training, lots of cool stuff. Just kind of poke around. Again, it's nerdy software, runs on Windows unless you have a Mac, or like Jonathan does, he has it running in a Windows like cloud instance. And like literally ZimmWriter then runs on your iPad if you want to, because you're tapping into the cloud instance. So a lot of different ways to use ZimmWriter and have fun with it.
Great stuff, guys. No, I appreciate it. I've put a couple links. I'll put some more in the chat. If you guys want to just learn more about ZimmWriter, like, this is not a hard sales pitch. It's just informative. If you guys want to learn about it, I'm going to put the link over in the chat again. You guys are welcome to check that out. Matt has a ton of training there as well. And I want to just remind you, it's not hard to set all this up. I know it sounds like a lot of technical, but it really, Matt makes this process, if you're serious about building your brand, writing blog posts, creating images, anything along, and there's so much more. The blogging is literally just kind of tapping the surface here about what is available. Check it out, take a look at it, watch some videos, ask me questions if you guys have got questions. Not a big deal. ZimmWriter runs, Matt, is it like 24.97 a month? I believe, is that what it is right now? I've got lifetime licenses, so I
24/7.
don't remember. Yeah, and sorry,
Yeah, 24.
those got discontinued a couple years ago. So, but it's that, and then you pay the API costs for what you use. But I will tell you that those costs are very low. You're not going to spend a ton of money on those. I mean, you could write let me do this. My average cost for a blog post that I write, I tend to write long ones. I tend to use Claude, the more expensive engines, and I'm still running with an image or two about, if I'm not mistaken, 12 to 15 cents per blog post. Matt, does that sound about right from your perspective?
That seems high, depending. I mean, that seems reasonable for like a Claude model, like Claude Sonnet.
And that's
But
what I'm
if you're
using. I'm using the
using,
Claude. Yeah, you can do them a
yeah,
lot less, but
yeah, there's so many models to choose from. The two models on both ends of the spectrum. GPT-4o Mini is actually a really great model if you want cheap but good quality. It's readable, it's good quality. Your articles there will be a penny, excluding AI images, depending on what AI model you choose. And then the other end of the spectrum is you'll have Claude Sonnet like 4.5. Your articles could be, 15 cents or something, depending on how many words you have it right. A typical 2,000 word blog post, 15 cents or something like that with Claude Sonnet.
yeah, no, they're very, very affordable to do that stuff with. So it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money to put that in. And again, they're well done. They're great. The other thing, and Matt, you talked about it a little bit. I didn't talk about a lot, but one of the other great features is, as you said, the ability within any app, if you're running ZimmWriter, to be able to use that and query models from wherever you are, no matter where you're at in the system. So I talk and I use it a lot for bulk blog post creation, but that's one of the others. Sandra's got another question. I know we've got just a couple minutes. I told Matt we'd only hold him for an hour, but see if we can get in. Oh,
Quick question.
Sandra, what's on your mind?
You mentioned a guy with 17 licenses. So is it like for every blog is a license?
No, so ZimmWriter, just the nature of this. So this is like ZimmWriter is my MVP, and it's been my MVP, like minimum viable product for the past 3 years. Meaning, I didn't think I'm not a coder by trade, but I can code, and so the software itself can only run one PC at a time. It just runs on one PC. And so if he wants, like simultaneous processing, he wants to, queue up articles and run, 17 instances at a time. He needs 17 different licenses, but if you don't have, with one ZimmWriter license, you can queue up articles for 1,000 different blogs if you want to, right? But he's writing, he wants to, write, I think he wrote 50,000 articles in a month. And so he needed, that many licenses to actually get the job done, to kind of speed the process up.
That means
Uh,
17 computers with 17 installs of ZimmWriter, since you said one per computer. Is that what you meant?
Yes.
yeah, seven,
Oh my
17
God.
separate. And ZimmWriter doesn't
Computers.
require a fancy computer, so he's got like 17
Wow.
boxes,
Okay, thank
17 little computer boxes, and it's insane. But you know what? He's scaling, he's making great money. So
thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, just to give you perspective on the requirements. So I went on Amazon and I bought like $199 micro PC that runs Windows, and we have ZimmWriter running on it, creating articles. So it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be expensive. I
Is
just don't
that is
connect to
that a
that one as
selling
often.
is
What's
that a
that?
selling point? I should probably put on my thing. It's literally the only software that people have actually bought PCs. Mac users have actually bought PCs to use.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
to
it's the
run.
craziest thing.
Yeah, no, I mean but the key is it doesn't take a lot. I mean, if you've got an old laptop sitting around or an
Yeah.
old desktop, it'll run. It's not it just needs to open a browser, and it's absolutely amazing. So it's one of those cool ways to get started. Butch, you've got a question. We'll take yours as the last question, and then we'll move on. What's on your mind, Butch? Butch, you there? We'll give you just a second. There we go.
Yep. I'm sorry. How are you?
Good.
Great. I mean, it's my mind is blown with watching this. I have a question about if using AI tools like ZimmWriter, where is the line between like helpful, scalable content and thin programmatic content in Google's eyes? And what process do you recommend to stay on the safe side?
Matt, you want to start with that?
Sure. I think it depends on your definition of success. I had this conversation before. So my friend who is writing, 50,000 articles in a month, his definition of success is he's making money, and if he's not going to write that many articles, then somebody else will. So you can define success that way. Now, if Jonathan had 50,000 blog posts on his site that he's writing every month, number one, he's probably not going to rank because it's all on one site, and number two, like, you're going to run out of stuff to talk about, so I think it depends on the context, depends on what your goal is, how you define success, and what you want to do with that. If you have one site and you're building a brand, for instance, maybe you'll have the AI, right, and I don't know the context, maybe you'll have the AI write 25 articles, but then you're going to go back through it and edit those things and add your own spin or up, do things to it to improve it that the AI can't then do. Now, how will Google treat that stuff? Your guess, if I could tell you exactly how to rank a non-branded info site, I would go on the road and I'd be a millionaire right now. It's just, it's
true.
I can, to put it in perspective, there are these two guys I look up to them. I learned everything I know about SEO from them, Gail and Mark Webster from Authority Hacker. And they had like the de facto affiliate training course. It was a couple $1,000s. They trained lots and lots of people. They actually shut their doors on that course and that program that had been running for over a decade. They shut their doors because they said, we can't teach people how to reliably replicate the success anymore, just because Google's changed so much. You can still get traffic from Bing, you can still get traffic from Yahoo, but Google is just like, it's so hard. And now we have OpenAI has like purchasing through the chat and stuff like that through OpenAI's GUI interface. Stuff's changing very, very fast. I think with info sites, scaling is the answer. With a brand, you just have to be more careful, and write to your audience and write stuff that they actually want to watch and consume.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, great questions, guys. I put the link and I'm going to put it again in the chat. We will email everybody as well, so you'll have the link if you're interested at all in just checking out what Matt's got. I just personally want to recommend it. It is a tool that, like I said, I've been using for literally for years, and I love it. It's amazing what it allows it to do. We've got a bunch of questions about SEO. My site, 99% of all the blog posts on my sites are written by ZimmWriter, and we rank just fine. Again, that's not our only focus, but we rank really well. Google does not mind AI content. Google makes one of the best AI engines out there. By the way, while we've been on this call, Google just released 3.0, if you guys weren't aware. So Gemini 3.0 is currently available. So Matt, now you've got more work to do as you add in and update APIs. The other question somebody had asked I wanted to address really quick is API keys. Matt, I've forgotten the name. What is the service that we can go to get one subscription? It gives us all the API keys. I've forgotten that. I use it, but I can't remember the name of it.
Right. So API keys broken down into two areas. Text APIs. If you want to write text, go to openrouter.ai, openrouter.ai, and you get your API key, and then you can use Gemini models, you can use Claude models, you can use OpenAI models. But if you want images, then I recommend just going to Runware and then getting an API key from there.
Yeah, so two of them. If you do the Open Router, you've got all your LLMs covered, and Runware, which I just signed up with. So thank you very much, Matt, for your image stuff. And you're right, the costs are really affordable on Runware. That's amazing. Yeah. So, all right. Well, Matt, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it greatly. Again, we'll send everybody out an email with the replay and everything else. It'll be later today when that goes out. We appreciate you guys so much. And yeah, I guess that's it. Matt, let me ask one question because I know it's going to come up here really quick. Is there any prediction on any Black Friday sales for ZimmWriter?
Not,
I know normally
I
you don't
wish.
do them, but
I I
I
don't
already
do
got pinged, so I was just going to ask.
I just get unhappy people. They're like, "Why I missed the deal?" And then I have to deal with all that customer stuff, So I'm just like, "Hey, the price is the price."
And it's a great price. I mean, $25 a month is incredibly reasonable for what you can do. You cannot hire a writer to do the heavy lifting. Again, my recommendation, you still do the planning. This is not just handing off your blogging to ZimmWriter. ZimmWriter is amazing, but you do the planning, you let AI do the heavy lifting, and that will save you so much time. And candidly, it allows you to serve your audience better. So, Matt, thank you
Yeah.
again. If I don't talk to you before the holidays, have an amazing holiday season. I appreciate you so much. Appreciate all the work and love you put into ZimmWriter
Thank you.
and
You too.
everything else. And I'll also put the link in. We put the link in for your training course as well. So all that'll get in here. And guys, thank you very much. If you tell me if you would, just because I love to know if this was valuable. I know it's a lot about ZimmWriter, but it's a great tool, and we do these for free because it is about a specific tool. Will you guys give me a 1 in the comments if this is valuable and you like these, just so I know to keep getting other people like Matt that I trust and be able to put that in? Matt, you're getting a ton of 1s. So this was a good
That's
hit.
great.
We love it. Guys, thank
Well,
you.
thank you,
I
Jonathan.
appreciate feedback, everybody. Make it a great day. We will get the replay out to you guys later today. Matt, thank you again. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.
You too.